Just a quick circle back on yesterday. Obviously, very excited to be 5-1. Our team has done a lot of things over these past 6 games to feel uh, like we're in a really good place as a football team with a lot of room to continue to grow, but a lot of exciting times ahead. And I think our guys are up for the challenges that will be ahead, adversity that will hit. Best part about yesterday was how our team handled, what was some tough circumstances and not playing the best in the complementary football world, but finding a way to get a victory. And we'll continue to improve as coaches. I know I can do a lot of things to help us, especially offensively, and what I look forward to doing and spending some time this week really taking a look at what we've done and what we hope to do moving forward. But love the fact that we'll get a chance to come off of our bye and have a chance to get back home at US Bank in front of our fans. They've been huge for us this season, and hopefully we can continue to build on what's been a solid start to our season. And, particularly yesterday, just looking at although statistically not a big day for our offense, I did think the no turnovers and limited penalties helped contribute to us winning the game, and then allowed our special teams to get back to where they've been all season long, which has been a dominant force for us, and then defensively to force the turnovers and be responsible for a lot of game-winning plays, even in times where it seemed like we were giving up some yards here and there. That's a tough team to play against with those skill players that they have, and certainly we didn't do enough to help them on offense. So with them being able to respond the way they did, I felt really strongly about that. And even more so, a lot of teams in this league, when things are going that way for one side or the other, sometimes you can see some friction start to build, but not one time did I ever feel like that between the sides of the ball or even guys on one side of the ball. And I think it just speaks to what we've built here and these players have really built here. And hopefully our continued success situationally at the end of halves and end of the second quarter, end of the fourth quarter will continue. And those guys have really bought into that situational masters feel. And it's been a huge part of our start. But kind of just a 30,000-foot view, and I figured we can open it up to you guys now.
We'll go Ben and Dave.
Yeah, Kevin, I think before the season, you guys kind of talked about this idea of winning on the margins. As you look at it through the first 6 games of the season, how have you felt like that's gone, and where are some of the areas that showed up the most?
I think games have been very close, and I think it comes down to those margins and how can we be good on, some plays and situations that maybe don't always get talked about on Monday morning, but they're winning plays and winning philosophies for us currently. Now, as we continue to move forward, I think those margins will become even smaller, and we're going to have to be that much better, and we're going to have to overcome hopefully less adversity, and we'll overcome it with more consistency. And that starts with me and how we prepare our team, how we prepare our guys for the different types of opponents that we see for all 3 phases of our football team.
Kevin, what in your mind were the keys to generating more of a pass rush than maybe you'd had in previous games? And then second quick question is, did you actually hand out 15 or 20 game balls to the defensive players, or was that more symbolic?
Well, the first answer to that question is I think it was just I thought Daniil had a really good day. I thought Z had a really good day. Pat Jones had a really good day. There was some interior rush that showed up that maybe didn't result in sacks, but Dalvin Tomlinson, I hope around the league, I know our opponents probably feel it, but I hope around the league he starts getting some accolades just for the impact he has on games, both in the run and pass. Every time we go in post game as a staff and talk about the game, I consistently hear 94 has had another good game and another impactful game. Doesn't always show up for those interior guys with statistics, but I can tell you when you turn on the tape, he shows up. And when you compare or combined him with 99 and 55, and then Pat Jones getting in the mix, playing some critical snaps, not having DJ yesterday, I thought it was a big part of the game. And then, no, I did not hand out 20-plus game balls. I was sitting in my office. I get a couple minutes to kind of get ready to address the team after a win like that. And I was kind of charting, okay, Patrick Peterson, Harrison Smith, Za'Darius, Pat Jones, Daniil, DT, you know what? Everybody gets a game ball. And it gets to the point where I'm sure these guys hear me speak enough. So if I can get out there and just tell them, hey, defense, you guys were our backbone and made some critical plays. I will say, I'm glad you asked, just because I do want to highlight, Harrison Smith and a big time performance that he had, some critical plays to get us the football back. And then I thought Patrick Peterson played his best football game to date. He was all over the place and really kind of set the tone, defending two really, really premier wideouts. I just thought all day long he was one step ahead, making some critical plays that resulted in us getting the football back directly with the interception, or just some PBUs, or just being really competitive against a real premier skill group that we saw yesterday. So those two guys, and then like I said, statistically and how they showed up, that pass rush was a real factor in the football game.
We'll go Matthew and then Alec.
Guess you guys don't have enough cap space to afford all the game balls. Is that the problem?
I learned I gave everybody on our team one after the Green Bay game, and then gave the defense one. And then Dennis Ryan's been doing this a long time, and he let me know that comes out of my salary. So I went home last night and my wife told me stop giving away game balls to everybody. So I guess I got to with a fourth child on the way, I better start being a little bit more selective, I guess. But I get excited after a win like that. And shoot, I probably could have gave some game balls as well to our sports performance staff, but then Tyler Williams will expect them every week, and we don't want that.
Okay, that wasn't my question though. But Kirk right now is second lowest in the league in terms of average depth of target. Is that because teams are kind of dictating that against you, or is that something you want to kind of address in the bye of how to push the ball downfield a little more?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. And I'm going to take a long look at that and just see what that translates to. I will tell you, we've had some, shorter targets that have gone for explosive gains with catch and runs and guys getting underneath coverage, that if they do want to play things deep to short, him making great decisions and then being really, really accurate with the ball underneath is a whole nother layer to his game where, that accuracy tends to translate to guys getting opportunities and then obviously what our skill players do with the ball in their hands afterwards. But absolutely something we want to be efficient and explosive. It's one thing we talk about every single week. And I think I can continue to try to help find ways to do that for our guys and put Kirk in premier situations to where he can pitch and catch to our skill guys. And definitely something I'll look at this week.
Hey, Kevin, you mentioned Zadarius a little bit, but I mean, obviously you guys had high hopes for what he'd be able to do. Just how important is what he's brought just from week one to now, both on the field and off it?
Yeah, he's been huge for our team, and I cannot say enough about his his mentality, his approach every week. I think he's been a guy that we can really rely on, even when the stats that end up in the stat sheet as far as sacks and hits show up. I think he affects the quarterback and he dictates protections that other teams run against us because you can tell people have an awareness of where 55 is. And the types of ways we want to use him. It's something we'll continue to look at from a standpoint of trying to move him around and really use his versatility as a speed and power rusher to have an impact on the game and try to find him the best matchups to where when we send four, we're not giving the quarterback two or three hitches. They're getting one hitch and they better get the ball out because 55's coming. But he's had a great start to the season. Kind of fighting through some things here and there, little nicks that kind of pop up inevitably for a guy that plays as hard as he does, but he's shown up each and every Sunday and been a real factor for us.
Jim?
Coach, some people are saying your team is living a charmed life right now. Just so many things have gone your way to this point. Is there such a thing as making your own luck, per se, in your mind?
I think that's a tough question to answer. I really do. I know we're 5-1 right now, and I know our players have done a lot to win football games that at times were either trailing late in games or, situationally have had to make some plays when it mattered the most. Consistency is still going to be something we'll strive for, but I don't particularly look at it like that. No.
Anybody else? Time for one more. No one else is in the line. Craig Peters.
I was just curious as to how you might go about self-scouting, things like that for between now and when you return on the regular game week.
Yeah, Craig, we 6 games of inventory to really look at, and we've been defended. The good news is we've been defended some different ways than maybe people have put on tape going into games. I think our offense has garnered some different types of coverage structures, front structures, personnel matches, base defense, certain third down coverages for Justin, and red zone coverages for our personnel. So I think we're going to be able to look at it through these 6 games. And yes, I think we can do a lot of things better. I think I can coach a lot of things better as we continue to get comfortable as the season goes on with how we're operating. But I do think we've had some real opportunities here, both in game and then post game to really have some things that we need to solve, and will provide us with tools in our back pocket moving forward for how teams may want to either replicate or duplicate the way we've tried to be. Teams have tried to defend us at times, or maybe try to build on things that they see. And hopefully we can stay one step ahead. Definitely going to look at how we've used our players, when we've used them, certain formations, certain personnel groupings, and then obviously defensively we'll do the same thing, and just try to continue to evolve and take something that's been successful enough to win 5 football games and 6 opportunities, but know that we can't rely on always being able to capitalize on some of those charming situations and go finish those games ourselves with a little bit more consistency, a little bit better execution across the board, and a little bit better coaching by us.
We got 1 minute left. Ben, we'll have you finish up.
Yeah, Kevin, as you guys go into this self-scout process here, I guess, how have you kind of felt about your own role as a play caller to this point, and how you felt like that has developed, and how do you feel like you've done with it?
I will say, Ben, it's been an evolving thing for me, just as the head coach as well. Kind of knowing that I can kind of mitigate some risk reward versus the plays I call for our offense that might have a positive or negative impact on our team in the current situation of the game. Do I want to expose us to potential negative plays? Sometimes the answer is yes, because the reward, whether it's the score of the game, the situation of the game, do we need to go get the lead back versus we have the lead, and although we don't want to overdo the field position game, I do think that there's a lot of merit, even in this day and age of stats and wanting to score a lot of points in fantasy football. My job as the head coach is ultimately to do what I think is best for us to win. I think I need to continue to do a better job of that and provide the players with all the tools possible to have success in the 3 phases of our team. But at the same time, I am learning how to constantly evaluate myself really hard, post-game decisions I make as the head coach, decisions I make as the play caller, and then ultimately how we go about our plans when we set out at the beginning of the week. And then what does it look like when these games end? Did it play out the way we thought? Did we make adjustments when we needed to? I think there's been examples of both the good and bad there, and that's where us as coaches go back this week, and me personally, we'll go back and really take a look at these first 6 games, not only for just the self-scout of tendencies, but the self-scout of decision-making, putting our players in good positions, and then as the season goes on, how we can call back upon either some of the positives or negatives throughout these first 6 games and be better, faster, evolve, change, adjust to be at our best when it's required. And that's really, what I'll be focusing on this week.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kevin. We'll have some players up shortly.
Thank you, guys.